What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Minsky. Back out with another video. And today we're doing yet another monthly check, and we are going to do the monthly check for the month of May. And for those who are new to the channel or new to my monthly checks in general, it is where I rank every single new release film that I saw from the worst to the best. And as well, all the films that everybody else has seen that I've never seen before, and rank them as well along with the new release films. But before we get sexual, beginning of the review itself, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe I'll be the YouTube algorithm recommended it to more people, maybe they could join. And you feel free to comment your rankings, monthly checks down below. But with that being said, guys, it's going to be, and I've also forgot to mention, after my ranking, I go over my overhaul, which is the new stuff that I got in this month, and then I show off new pictures that I drew that are on the ceiling, which I have one. But anyways, so this month I saw a total of 25 films in total, and most of them were new release films. Like 17 of them were new release films, I believe. So that's crazy in and of itself. So let's just get into actual beginning of the monthly check itself, shall we? And also just like to point out, I'm sorry I did not include one of these films in my short ranking. I forgot to add it to the list, so I apologize. But anyways, coming in at number 25, the worst movie that I saw this month by a mile was actually a movie that came out in January, but on Paramount Plus. And I got it on physical media, and that, of course, is Star Trek Section 31. This is currently tied with Kinda Pregnant for the worst movie I've seen all year. Basically, just a formulaic type team-up movie. So kind of similar to the lines of Suicide Squad, Thunderbolts, and all those sort of movies, basically. And here, yeah, it was terrible. Like, there wasn't a single redeemable thing about this for me. I think it's tough. I think the main actress, I forgot what her name was, but
I'll be back.
Michelle Yeoh. I don't know why I forgot her name. She does okay in her role, but everything else, terrible dialogue, terrible CGI effects, terrible characters, story, formulaic of other things. I mean, just everything about this film is red flags. Coming in at number 24, though, not much better, but I would certainly rewatch this one over Star Trek Section 31, and that, of course, is The Final Destination. So, of course, I've already seen the first 3 Final Destination movies. I love those films, but the only 2 I had not seen building up to Bloodlines is 4 and 5, and this is the only movie in the Final Destination franchise that I can outright say is terrible. Terrible CGI effects for the time, because this is the time frame where they did 3D effects, so all the 3D is like right in front of your face with terrible things done. All the premonition sequences are terrible. The opening premonition was an interesting concept of it being like a race car rally or whatever, but did not execute it well in the slightest. The characters in here are thin as heck. All of them are terrible. Like, you don't care a single bit about any one of them. Ending so abrupt that it's terrible. Just everything about this is terrible, except maybe one kill that I did kind of get a guilty pleasure out of, and that's Hunter's death at the bottom of the swimming pool. I thought that was a pretty decent death, but all the other deaths, terrible, which is shocking to say, because most of the Final Destination movies, you come for the kills, and there were not that good kills in here. So, The Final Destination is almost final place, but Star Trek Section 30, I would much rather rewatch this one than Star Trek Section 31, because I can see myself maybe having a guilty pleasure fun time with some of my friends watching it, but if I'm watching it by myself, I would much rather prepare to do other things. So here on up, I would say these movies are from okay, I like them, really good, or awesome. So, coming in at number 23, I have Mountainhead, which I thought was okay. If we were just ranking the new release films in this video, this was probably my least favorite, but I still don't think it's a bad film. It's just a whole lot of the humor went over my head here. I think the plot is decent, where you have basically this family going to visit their father because he just beat cancer, but it's back again. So it's kind of similar to The Family Stone, but it's not Christmas really. So it's kind of similar to that. Performances were good. I think there were some genuinely funny laughs later on in the film with something that goes on. That's all I'll try to say. But everything before that, I didn't really get, unfortunately. But I still don't think it's a bad movie. If you're a Steve Carell fan, check it out. It's on Max. And this was actually the last movie I watched out of all the movies that came out last month. Coming in at number 22, I have A Simple Favor. So this was a first-time watch. This was building up, of course, to the second film, Another Simple Favor, which I know probably you just clicked off the video for this being lower than the second film, but hear me out. The first A Simple Favor is okay. Like, I don't hate it. I think Anna Kendrick does good. I think Blake Lively does good. I think the chemistry between them, even though it's kind of obvious they don't like each other in real life, I think they do okay with one another in this film. But the problem with this is I feel like it becomes too twisty near the end, where it kind of soured me a little bit on the film. It's perfectly watchable, and it's an interesting storyline to go, but however, I didn't love the movie as much as I wanted to, so it comes in at number 22. Number 21, I have probably another hot take on here, but my list, Final Destination 5. I don't think it was a bad movie. I just thought it was okay. Which most people, from what I've seen, this and 3 are the favorites of the franchise. Which 3 I get. This one, I enjoyed. It's watchable, but there were a couple things I didn't like about this film. I don't think the characters were that strong to me, unfortunately. I think the kills were 50-50. There's some good ones in here. There's one gymnastic kill that, oh my gosh, made me cringe. Oh my gosh, that hurt. That was like one of the gnarliest kills I've seen in this whole entire franchise, even though it's CGI'd all to heck, which I do admit the CGI in here, this was still around the time where it was 3D in your face, that era. I think the CGI is much better in this film compared to the Final Destination, where it was downright awful. There's one premonition kill in here with this guy having tar thrown onto him that was gnarly as well. And the whole entire Buddha kill too, with the Buddha statue or whatever. I thought that was pretty gnarly too. Characters, underwhelming. There was some interesting things done later on in the film where you have like a twist where somebody is actually trying to become death itself. I thought that was interesting, but I still don't know if it overall worked for me. Also this does have Tony Todd in it, so that's always a plus. The RIP to the legend himself in here, and he gets actually featured the most in this whole entire franchise, I think, so, in this film, so I kind of enjoyed that about this film. And especially watching Final Destination Bloodlines, I think his performance in here is even better. And also awesome twist ending. How could I not mention the twist ending? But I'm not gonna spoil it, just in case if you haven't seen it. Coming in at number 20, I have Stitch the movie. So, kind of similar with the Final Destination movies. So, the only two Lilo and Stitch movies that I've seen are Lilo and Stitch 1 and Lilo and Stitch 2 Has a Glitch. But the other movies, so this and Leroy and Stitch, in the live-action remake, of course, were the only ones I had not seen. So, and this was definitely the weakest out of the franchise for me, but I still think it's perfectly watchable. All it is basically just 3 episodes of the Lilo and Stitch TV show into one that's just promoting the TV show. Yeah, Stitch and Lilo are still enjoyable characters in here. The animation is downgraded from the first film severely, where you can tell, but it's watchable. It's watchable, which I might be saying that a couple of times throughout this film. Number 19, I have Shadow Force. A whole lot of you just went, what is Shadow Force? Which I don't blame you. I went into this movie blind because all I saw were the posters. That was it. I knew it had the guy that played Bishop from X-Men Days of Future Past, and he's also in Jurassic World. That's all I knew about this film. And I was kind of like expecting it to be kind of sci-fi-esque from the little poster, but it was okay. I didn't hate it. It was watchable. I think the main dude, I forgot what his name was, but the guy that played Bishop did a good job in this role. He played a interesting character. Mark Strong's the villain, which he always delivers in the villain role, which I do think he does here. There's some very cute moments. I think the son in here has a whole lot of funny jokes throughout the whole entire film that actually had me cracking up a little bit. So I did enjoy this. Action sequences were, but, yeah, it's not a movie you necessarily need to rush out to see in theaters or rush out to rent on Prime or whatever, but when you get the chance, if it's free somewhere, I would recommend it. It's fine. Coming in at number 18, probably the most disappointing movie on this list, and that, of course, is Karate Kid Legends. So, as you guys know, big Karate Kid fan, love the first film, enjoyed the sequels, really enjoy the remake, Next Karate Kid I Hate. This one was just okay to me. I think that the main lead, Ben Wong, I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce his name, he was a compelling lead, of which I do want to see his character again, where he had a certain charisma about him that definitely worked with his character. Essentially, as well, the movie tells two halves. The first half takes to the franchise in a completely different direction, where you have this storyline where, Ben Wong's... Is it Ben Wang or Ben Wong? I forgot what his name was. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I apologize if I butcher it. But he trains this pizza shop owner how to fight for this tournament to keep his pizza shop, basically. Which I liked that first half. I thought that was a unique way to take the Karate Kid franchise. However, the later part of the film becomes very formulaic Karate Kid stuff, which I hate to say. And Jackie Chan, I think, has more of a part in this film than a whole lot of people are saying, but still, he's not in the movie as much as I would want him to be, since the last film he was in the Karate Kid 2010 remake. And Daniel doesn't even really feel like he matters in this whole entire movie. If you take him out, I love Ralph Macchio and the character of Daniel LaRusso, but if you take him out, he doesn't even feel like he fits in the story at all. So yeah, if you take him out, it would be the same exact movie. Villains, generic, like, they're just, oh, I'm a bully because I'm a bully. Oh, I'm so much better than everyone else. Generic. Fight sequences were decent. That would probably be my best positive about the movie, is the fight sequences were pretty good, and there was a compelling lead, but still quite disappointed in this one, so that's unfortunate. But now, coming into number 17, I would say here on up, I do like these movies. Coming in at number 17, I have another simple favor, which I know a whole lot of you just clicked off the video right now, but I think it might just be the whole entire Europe setting. I guess it kind of made me enjoy this film a little bit more compared to the original, where I guess it made for nice little setting vibes for this whole entire film. But even though I do have this high, I do admit there's one joke in the movie that was just going, that's not funny, that's just gross. But other than that, still enjoyed it. Anna Kendrick's still a fun lead, and her little banter back and forth with Blake Lively's character is decent enough, so I'll put that there. Coming in at number 16, I have Last Bullet, probably another film you guys are going, what is that? It is a straight-to-Netflix foreign film. This year, I've actually been trying to catch up on some foreign films, so this is one that I've added to the list, where this is actually a sequel to another film, but I never watched the first film going into this one, so I apologize. which might be why it's as low as it is. Probably if I watched the first film, I probably would have enjoyed this one a little bit more, but as for me, I still felt a little bit lost, even though I did enjoy the movie overall as a whole. There's one really good bus action sequence in here that I thought was awesome. I think the performances were all quite decent. Yeah, it was a solid. It was solid. I haven't had a straight to Netflix foreign film wow me yet where I said, oh, I love this. But I do like all the ones I've seen so far. Number 15, I have... Hold on, I got prepared for this. Lisa Krista. I think, I'm a little too much out of breath, so the Stitch impersonation probably wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. But the Lilo and Stitch live action remake. I was actually really excited going into this one because I thought the marketing was actually quite genius for the film, and from the trailers, it looked very cute. However, I was a little disappointed by this one, even though I still overall like the movie. It is definitely one of the better Disney live-action remakes. I think the CGI for all of the aliens looked really good. I think the acting was good, especially by the little girl that played Lilo in here. I thought she did a great job, and the person that played Nani, they did good. However, for the most part, the film did kind of feel like kind of feel as if it's just like the original film, even though they do add some new scenes in there as well. I wasn't a fan of how they used Jumba in this movie, as well as Zach Galifianakis. It doesn't help that he felt miscast in the whole entire role, which I'm a big Zach Galifianakis fan. I think he's hilarious, but he did not fit Jumba in here, so there's that. This comes in at number 15. Number 14, I have Fight or Flight, which I didn't hear about this movie until Jay Pylon recommended it in chat. If you're here, check him out, ladies and gentlemen, check him out. And thank you for the recommendation. I appreciate it. This was just a solid, fun, lower-budget action movie, while it still has a lot of flaws. The action sequence near the end of the film in the airplane I thought was very fun. I think Josh Hartnett did good in the main role. I think a lot of the hand-to-hand action was really good. Yeah, overall, I did really enjoy this film. The only thing that let me down, really, is its ending. It just felt like it came out... the ending felt so abrupt that it kind of soured me on the movie a little bit, just because what it felt like to me was it just, oh, we're planning a sequel, maybe, and it just annoyed me a little bit. But other than that, still enjoyed the film. Oh, I'm about to get flack for this one. Let me take a drink of water. Number 13, I have Hurry Up Tomorrow, which is probably the biggest hot take I have on this whole entire list. Okay, look. I am there with you guys that say all it is just promoting The Weeknd's new album with the same name. I am there with you. That's what it certainly feels like. But I did like the movie. I think the visuals in this film were great. I think The Weeknd did an okay job at acting as himself. I think the overall metaphor, I understood what he was going for in this film, so it kind of worked for me. Jenna Ortega did good. However, the movie is a very, very slow burn. And it doesn't really have a clear plot. But I did like the movie. It was very unique to me. So I'm one of those rare few weird people that actually like this movie. And I'm not even the biggest Weeknd fan. I am a fan of his music, but I'm not like a big, gigantic fan. So that's coming from somebody that's not a huge Weeknd fan. So I don't have a bias or anything. Number 12, I have Last Rodeo. This was actually a surprise because Angel Studios does not have the best track record with me. Before I saw this film, the only film of theirs or project of theirs that I've actually liked is Cabrini. And this would be added to that. This is basically, if you combined Rocky Balboa, with real steel, but instead of boxing or robot boxing, it's bull riding for a contest, basically. So, and it was entertaining. It was entertaining. Neil McDonough does a great job, as he usually does. I've been a fan of him since his Arrow days, so he does good in here as well. He played Dum Dum Dugan in Captain America: The First Avenger. I think his friend in this movie, I don't know the actor's name, I apologize, but he did a good job in his role as well. An overall very compelling storyline, so I did enjoy this film. But it is, the movie felt like it was maybe 2.5 hours long or 2 hours long, even though it was like an hour and a half, I'm pretty sure. So I think they could have amped up the pacing a little bit. But other than that, did enjoy this film. Number 11, I have Fear Street Prom Queen, which probably the reason why I have this as high as it is because the 80s nostalgia factor for this movie, where it throws it back to the 80s, and it does... It has that throwback sort of nature to all those old 80s slashers movies. So similar to, like, Prom Night, those whodunits, you know? So, which added a nice little charm to the movie. Soundtrack's good in here, even though it is songs that have been played over and over and over again. But I don't care, because I get to hear the songs again. There's some decent enough kills in here. There's one where... I'm not going to spoil it here, but I think it was building up. It was a very mean kill, but it felt like it was building up to something. But how they end the kill, I was a little underwhelmed by, even though I was liking the build up. Characters in here weren't as strong as all the other characters in the Fear Street movies. I think the only good character you had in here was the friend of our main protagonist in here, our main final girl, but that's pretty much it, really. But I did enjoy this because it felt very reminiscent of those 80s slasher movies, so that comes in at number 11. Number 10, I have Final Destination Bloodlines. So from here on up, I would say really good or good movies. Final Destination Bloodlines, I think comes in at number 4 in my ranking of the Final Destination franchise. I really did like this movie. But it doesn't have the best characters, I will admit. The kills in here, really good. There's one with an MRI that I thought was, oh my goodness, that image is not getting out of my head. I think the kill that they've been advertising with the glass shard in the trailers has been pretty decent as well. I do admit, even though I don't think all the characters are that strong, there's one character in here by the name of Eric that I did like, and I think he was one of the more funnier protagonists in this whole entire franchise, so I did enjoy him. Aside from everyone else, not really. And the ending, I think, fell flat, but this film does have kind of a send-off for Tony Todd's character, where I think they ended his character very, very well, and this was his last ever performance, where in his final words in this film, he basically kind of talks about life and stuff, so it kind of made me a little teary-eyed in this movie when that happened, so I think they tied everything together with his character in this film. Coming in at number 9, I have Friendship. So this is the newest film with Paul Rudd, and forgive me, I don't know what the guy's name was, but the guy that has that meme, are you sure about that? Like, I was trying my best impersonation of that. I know I butchered that, but something Robbins, I'm pretty sure. Tim Robbins? No, I don't know. Anyways, but this is kind of a cringe comedy, basically, and it kind of reminded me of a modern take of The Cable Guy, which, in that sense, it was entertaining. I think the main lead guy did good. I haven't seen him act in anything else, so he did pretty decent in that role. Paul Rudd did good. I think his banter back and forth between them two was pretty decent. Kate Mara does good in here. However, where I'm mixed to negative on the movie is the humor. I think some moments were certainly funny, but there are some moments that kind of, similar to Mountain Head earlier on in this list, kind of went over my head. But other than that, still enjoyable. I got a couple laughs out of this one, so this one was fun. Number 8, I have Leroy and Stitch. So, Leroy and Stitch the movie and the Lilo and Stitch live action remake were all first time watches for the Lilo and Stitch review series I did this month. And easily the best out of those three was Leroy and Stitch for me. Basically what this is, it basically just ends the whole entire TV series, basically, where the TV series ended, so they needed, like, a closer, so this was basically the closer. And, as a closer for the whole entire Lilo and Stitch franchise in general, I think it did a pretty decent job at that. I think the final act in here was pretty good, where it was certainly, like, Avengers Endgame-esque, but with all the Lilo and Stitch creations from the Lilo and Stitch TV series. I like the story of how Lilo is kind of missing her friends and letting them do her own thing, so I enjoy that. And yeah, it ends very, very nicely. However, I'm mixed on the whole entire Leroy plot. I don't think it all came together for me, unfortunately. Need to breathe. Because I've been talking a lot. And I've been out of breath. Coming in at number 7, I have Fear Street Part 1, 1994. So, all the Fear Street movies were first-time watches. I originally was supposed to do a review series with all these movies. I still have a review of the first movie on my channel if you would like to check that one out, but I wasn't able to, unfortunately, post a review for Fear Street Part 2 or Part 3 or Prom Queen, so I do apologize for that, but I'm ranking them here, and I already posted a ranking of the movies on my channel if you would like to check that one out. But Part 1, I think, was a solid little entry in this franchise, to get us introduced to the world of Fear Street. All these movies are basically based off R.L. Stine short stories, and it all combined into one with this whole entire witch storyline, which I think all these movies are quite solid. I would actually give all of them positive reviews. And this was a good opener. Characters weren't that strong, but I do think they get developed a little bit more in the sequels that come, I will admit. But other than that, I think I think the concept's interesting of having this witch revive all dead people, and they're coming back and trying to kill a specific sort of bloodline, if you will, to, what's the word? I'm so tired. But, you get it. But yeah, I did like the cast for this movie, so yes, it comes in at number 7. Number 6, though, I have Fear Street Part 2, 1976. So, where Fear Street Prom Queen was a throwback to an 80s slasher, this is kind of throwback to one as well, with the whole entire camp slasher with Sleepaway Camp and the original Friday the 13th being prime examples. So that added a little points to this film to make me enjoy it a lot more. This also introduced Sadie Sink into the franchise, and she did good in here too. I think this has the best kills of the whole entire franchise, out of the whole entire movies. As well, it's been a while, been a minute since I've seen the movie, so I apologize. Besides Sadie Sink's character and her, like, sister and a couple other characters in this movie, all the other side characters felt like they were underdeveloped, but I really enjoyed the camp slasher throwback aesthetic they had in this film, so. Coming in at number 5, I have Nonas. So I forgot to include, this was the one that I forgot to include in my ranking of all the movies I saw last month from worst to best, but I forgot to review it on Letterboxd, so therefore I forgot to add it to my ranking, which I do apologize for. But as for straight to Netflix films go, I'm not talking about foreign films, I'm just talking about straight to Netflix, like English films. I think this is one of the better ones. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. I loved the Italian setting you had in here, the theming of everything. Vince Vaughn did good in this film. I think all the food stuff was entertaining because I do like my food, so that was certainly entertaining. And overall, the whole entire thing of him basically getting this whole entire store in name of his mother, I thought was very touching for like grief and stuff to handle. To kind of, I wrote in my letterbox review if you want more clarification, but it kind of, when your parent passes away, you basically want to get something or get a shop to basically use their to basically in their name to make them happy, basically. So I thought they did good with that. However, it is a very slow movie, I do admit, and I think some of the side characters were a little underdeveloped compared to the other side characters. But other than that, still enjoyed it. Number 4, I actually have my favorite of the Fear Street franchise, which is supposedly unpopular, but I actually have where people do like this movie, don't get me wrong, but this is actually my favorite, and that's Fear Street 1666. I liked the period piece aesthetic they had in here. I've said aesthetic so many times, I know, I apologize. I enjoyed the whole entire thing of exploring the whole entire picture they had in this franchise with the guy that with no eyes that at the trial or whatever. I thought that looked really cool, brought to life here. And as the ender of the Fear Street trilogy, the original trilogy, I think it did wrap up quite well. Coming in at number 3, top 3 people, I have Clown in a Cornfield. Clown in a Cornfield was surprisingly a really, really fun time. The humor in here I thought was hilarious with the whole entire generational humor you have in here. I thought the kills were pretty good. I thought the reveals, while being predictable, I thought it was an interesting way to go with their method. Kevin Durant gives a fun, cheesy performance in this. I think the main final girl in here is pretty solid. I've only seen clips of her acting in other things. I forgot with some sort of story that I've seen across Instagram a couple times. I've never seen the movie she's in, but this was my first introduction to her in the movies. And I thought she did really good. So yeah, overall, Clown in Cornfield, I think the Friendo the Clown has potential to become a horror icon if given the next clown horror icon if given other sequels in this franchise. So I do like the potential they have there. Coming in at number 2, I have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. If this was indeed the ending of the franchise, I thought they did a great job at ending it. Aside from them jumping back to flashbacks way too many times in the film being a little exposition heavy, I still thought this was a great way to end the franchise. I think all the action sequences in here were awesome. The airplane sequence in here, my goodness, it's neck and neck with the Burj Khalifa scene from Ghost Protocol for like most intense scene of the whole entire franchise. The stakes in this film is very high, with it being the last film where you don't know necessarily who's gonna die or live, so that was intense. So I did thoroughly enjoy Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. But coming in at number 1 for me, I have We Are the Thunderbolts. This is my 3rd favorite movie of the year right now, and currently I think is my favorite MCU project we've gotten since Endgame. I thoroughly enjoyed this throughout the whole entire film. I don't think I really had anything that negative to say about it. I think I loved the team dynamic you had in here with U.S. Agent, Ghost, Red Guardian, Yelena, Winter Soldier, and as well the new addition to this film, Bob, played by Louis Pullman, which I thought he did a great job. Who he ends up being, I'm not going to spoil it here, but I enjoyed that, even though I saw it coming from the trailers and I already knew. kinda, but it was cool how they executed his character in this film. What other things? The action sequences in here are quite solid. I think that the comedic moments were very funny, and Yelena, I think after watching this, people have been saying, after watching this, she could be the new Natasha Romanoff. I think she should be the new Black Widow of the MCU. And after seeing this, Florence Pugh killed it in the role, and killed it in the role in Black Widow. So I would definitely want to see her as the main Black Widow of the MCU going forward. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the ranking done. Now we get into the physical media that I got for this month. So, alright. Hold on. We'll get into stuff that I necessarily... Oh my gosh. Hats just fell. Ignore that. We'll get into the physical media that I got from the family cabinet, and one that's not actually mine. I actually got this for my mom for Mother's Day. Yes, Mother's Day. Yes, Mother's Day. Yeah, duh. And that is the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Blu-ray. She loves this movie, so I got it for her on Blu-ray to upgrade the DVD. Even though my dad spoiled the present for her. And that's a story for another time. And then these are movies that I got from this family cabinet. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I've never even heard of this movie. I just saw it and went, okay, maybe add that to the collection. 300 Rise of an Empire. I haven't even watched the first 300 all the way through, so I don't know anything about this movie other than it actually being a prequel, a midquel, and a sequel at the same exact time, which that's interesting in of it itself. So that definitely catches my attention. Lone Ranger, one of the biggest box office bombs in history, I believe. I actually get a kick out of this movie. I haven't seen it in a very, very long time, so keep that in mind. But Johnny Depp as Tonto in here, I did like. Army Hammer does decent in here, even though he's never gonna be in Hollywood again. That's all I'll say. But he does decent in the Lone Ranger type role. As well, I think it is very well directed. So Lone Ranger there, Mission Impossible, The Dead Reckoning Part 1. Well, this is actually rare because it says Part 1 right there. And it's actually just Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning right now. So I got a rare copy of this. So yes. If you want my more in-depth thoughts on this, I did post a short ranking of all the movies. As for Part 1s go, that ended where I felt like it needed to end with the first part of that story. So Elvis on 4K. Elvis, that was in my top 5 favorite movies of 2022, I believe. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Austin Butler gave a great performance. Now, physical media that I actually got. We got, I don't like the Velcro. I think that's what it's called. Velcro, right? The sort of filling you have in here. Stitch popcorn bucket from Lilo and Stitch. I had to get it. It looks so cool. So we got that. We also got a video game. The second video game that I've gotten this year since WWE 2K25. That is Doom: The Dark Ages. I actually started playing this on my channel yesterday. So the second part should be coming out Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But so far, I'm really liking the game. This is my first ever Doom game, and it's quite solid. I am enjoying it so far. I don't see any negatives with the game so far. And I was actually a little worried going in because I was going, oh my gosh, it's not going to be a story game, is it? Is it just going to be shooting aliens and stuff? But no, there's an actual story. There's cutscenes, so I'm happy. Now, physical media that I got. Alright. So up first, we have one of those $1 treasure hunts that I got at Dollar General, I think. And that is 10 Cloverfield Lane on physical media here. It's a shame it's not even in an actual case, but whatever. I take this movie. I watched this for the first time last night. And yeah, I thought this was a great little claustrophobic psychological thriller in here. John Goodman delivers a great performance in here, as well does Mary Elizabeth Winstead. So, thoroughly enjoyed that one, even though I've never even seen the original Cloverfield. So, but yes, I did thoroughly enjoy that. Okay, I gotta move all these big boys up here. Oh, sorry, my nose is a little runny. Okay. Oh boy, what do we do first? Alright, let me see. Let's do the WWE Blu-rays first. So we have two of these. So we have the best pay-per-view matches of 2012. Did I just say 2012? Okay, 2012. Where this was an upgrade for DVD. So of course you got some great matches on here. You have Undertaker versus Triple H in that Hell in a Cell match. That's of course awesome. You have Rock versus Cena Part 1, which is awesome as well. Then you also have Sheamus versus Big Show, great match too. An underrated match at Hell in a Cell. So, yep, there's that. Second WWE Blu-ray and the final WWE Blu-ray. WrestleMania 31, which was everybody was expecting to be a crap WrestleMania, and actually ended up being one of the best ones. So, WrestleMania 31 on Blu-ray. And that is the first Blu-ray or physical media I have of WWE that's actually from the year 2015, which surprised me. But anyways, next up, let's talk about all the rest of the $5 General movies that I got from $5 General, along with that Final Destination. Not Final Destination. I can't speak. Along with the 10 Cloverfield Lane $1 Blu-ray pack. And we got Man from Snowy River. I need to rewatch this movie again because I remember nothing about it. But I got the Blu-ray to upgrade the DVD, so there's that. Same thing over here with Horton Hears a Who, where it was a Blu-ray upgrade for the DVD. But I do remember this one because I've seen it actually quite a few times. I remember it being okay. Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, one of the more underrated Arnold movies. I haven't seen this one in a long time, but I do remember it actually being good and don't understand the hate for that one. Funny thing is, too, out of all the Terminator movies, the only two I'm missing are the first two. So that's odd. And Terminator Dark Fate as well. I don't own that. And this is actually the first Die Hard movie I have in the collection. That's actually Live Free or Die Hard. So I saw this there. So I definitely got this as well over here. So, which actually a whole lot of people do like that one, even though it did change from R to PG-13 for that movie. So, which I know a lot of people were probably upset about. I got the Batman Beyond complete Blu-ray series to upgrade another DVD over there. So there's that. Which this was actually a pretty decent deal. It was like $20 or something like that. So I got that right here. And that fits very nicely with the Batman the Animated Series Blu-ray collection. We got the 4K collection of Rankin Bass Christmas collection movies. So we have Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town in here. I don't know if it has Frosty Returns. I still have to check that, but yes, I got this, which, all three classic movies to watch during Christmas time. Alright, I'll save all the 4K steelbooks for last. Next up we have Wild Robot 4K right there, one of the best movies of last year. Definitely the best animated movie. I think this was in my top 5, top 10. Something like that. This movie was amazing, and yet last year in it of itself was actually a great year for animation. So there's that right there. The Mean Girls 4K. This was actually a movie I not wanted to see, but wanted to see for my channel. Coming out in January, but I decided to go with Beekeeper instead, so I never got to watch this. But here it is right there. I haven't even seen the original Mean Girls, but I got the musical right there that came out last year. The Final Destination 5-film Blu-ray collection. So, of course, seen the first 3. Love the first 3. 4 and 5, I just got this one for 4 and 5 because I had not seen them yet. So, and I wanted the Final Destination movies in my collection. So, yep, got that there. Alright. All we have left is 4K steelbooks. So let's start out with the worst one, shall we? Star Trek Section 31 4K Steelbook. Even though, why I say it's the worst one is because the movie's garbage, but the Steelbook actually, in and of itself, is actually pretty cool. So, and then there's the back right there, if you can read that. Got 3 more here. Then you also got the that one feels weird. But the Schindler's List 4K Steelbook, which this is a movie I've only seen once. Just because I got it, I'll probably watch it a second time. But after that, I don't know if I'll rewatch the movie ever again, because it's even though the movie's phenomenal, it's a very depressing watch. So, but yes, great film, no doubt about it. Which one do I go next? I'll go that one last. Alright, this is the Inside Out 2 4K Steelbook, another great animated movie that came out last year. Pretty much, it's pretty equal with the first film, which one I enjoy more, and also comes with this. So, like, this actually was from another country, I believe, and it actually works. We watched a movie on this, so, yes, great animated flick right there. And then probably the most excited release that I got this month, that of course being Mickey 17 on 4K Steelbook. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this movie. This was after rewatching it again, after a rewatch, it does cement itself in the top 10 favorite movies of the year for me. I still think it's great. Bong Joon-ho did a great job at directing right there. Robert Pattinson delivers a great performance in it, both playing Mickey 17 and Mickey 18. So, yes, love this film. So, glad I have it to the collection. So, sorry guys, forgot to show my new picture, the Musician Monkey, which is the next thing in Letterboxd, like the third movie to review. So I added that to my collection as well, as you guys can see. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is my May 2025 monthly check. Be sure to let me know your monthly checks down below. But with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace out.